Good morning. Thank you so very much, and welcome to the 11th Annual Madison Region Economic Development and Diversity Summit. My name is Brian Kemji, and I'm the Director of Development and Communications at the Urban League of Greater Madison. It's my pleasure to be here with you all today as we have a unique opportunity to explore some of the pivotal issues and challenges that are shaping our region, and as well seek some innovative solutions to economic inclusion and workforce diversity. And with that in mind, it's my fortune to announce and introduce an extraordinary leader who's been dedicated and committed to economic empowerment and social justice, not only now, but in the past, and also in the future, in many ways that will impact our community. Some of us may know him from his visionary leadership with the Black Business Hub project over on, thank you very much, over on South Park Street. Others may know him from his creative strategic thinking and trend-setting efforts with the Unity Picnic. Many know him as a mentor, a friend, or even a boss. And I'm fortunate to know him in all of those capacities. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a very warm welcome to the President and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Madison, Dr. Ruben Anthony Jr.
Thank you, Brian. I got to take you with me, man. That's a great introduction. I didn't even know who that was. Well, good morning, colleagues and distinguished guests. We want to welcome you to the 2024 Summit. I'm Ruben Anthony, the President and CEO of the Urban League of Greater Madison, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. We come together under the powerful banner of innovation, diversity, and unity in an era where we confront historical challenges that we thought were buried forever. Despite the emergence of these challenges, the principles and best practices of diversity, equity, and inclusion are not merely lofty ideas, but the very pillars that guide us forward. We're better when we find ways to work together. Today's assembly gives us another opportunity to explore the intersectionality between diversity and economic development. We're proud to be doing this once again with our friends from MadREP and all of you. Together, we embark on a transformative journey propelled by the National Urban League's pioneer D3 campaign. This initiative is rooted in three guiding tenets: defend democracy, demand diversity, and defeat poverty. As our esteemed National President Mark Morial says, we will fight for these principles until hell freezes over, and then when hell freezes over, we're going to fight on the ice. In short, we mean business about defending these principles. With the D3 campaign we set forward, we want to talk about first how we defend democracy. To do this, we must combat and dismantle racial, targeted voter suppression tactics. We must rise up against unfair maps in this state and in states all over the country. And we must rise up against voter ID laws that make it difficult for people to vote. This is why I was a plaintiff in the Clark v. WEC case that went in front of our Supreme Court in 2003 with a new justice on the Supreme Court. And we won, and we have fair maps in Wisconsin now. Our democracy is far too important not to fight to salvage it for the next generation, to demand diversity. Today, we must rise up against the tide of white supremacy backlash that seeks to undermine diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across in many facets across society. Some of our state legislators here in Wisconsin think that it is fair game to outright attack DE&I. They held the UW system hostage. They said, if you want a 4% pay increase, you got to freeze all your DEI activities. Everybody across the nation is wondering what we're doing here in Wisconsin. That's a shameful divide and conquer tactic. All across the nation, there are some that believe that it's okay to infringe on the rights of women today. That's not cool. That's not cool. Y'all think it's cool? No. All right, well, clap. Yeah. Demanding diversity means that we must stand up for the rights of women. And the Urban League, every day we're going to be behind the women and not letting anybody, men or politicians, take your rights away. You can count on that. To defeat poverty, we must break down the structural and institutional barriers that obstruct access to financial services, obstruct access to capital, obstruct the social safety net, obstruct quality of education, and the broader economic opportunities that all people deserve. This is why we do our home ownership program to build generational wealth. We're not talking about it, we're doing it. And this is why we built the Black Business Hub, so that we can grant access to capital, access to space, and access to an institution that's going to bet all day long on Black and brown businesses. Our mission is unequivocal. Together, we shall forge a future adorned with equality, opportunity, and justice for all. Our nation is wrestling with economic disparities, social injustices, and the whirlwind pace of technology change. AI is taking over. Woody White, my childhood friend, is here today. He's going to be talking about that in one of the breakout sessions. So we are here today to exchange ideas, devise solutions, and celebrate our diversity as our most precious asset. Armed with innovation as our tool and unity as our beacon, we stand ready to transform these challenges into a tapestry of opportunities, creating an economy and a society that uplifts everyone. As we engage in today's discussion, let us be mindful of the lasting impact of our endeavors, carving a legacy for generations yet unborn. Our commitment to inclusivity, our zeal for innovation, and our resolve to unite in the face of adversity will shape this enduring legacy. It is with immense honor that I'd like to introduce my good friend who embodies the spirit of the D3 campaign, Jason Fields, the CEO of MadREP. His leadership has not only catalyzed economic development, but he also has woven diversity and inclusion into his strategic fabric and their mission. Under his stewardship, MadREP has continued to build on its legacy of commitment to economic inclusion, demonstrating what we can achieve when we unite together. I want to thank you for being here today and for embracing our collective vision. But please join me in extending a warm welcome to the CEO of MadREP, a visionary leader for our times and a steadfast champion of the D3 campaign. Come on up, Jason.
I hate following him sometimes, man. Right now, my team is wondering, is he going to stick to the script or not? We'll see. I'm gonna ad-lib this part, but I am gonna stick to the script. Thank you, Doc. And one of my issues that I've always had as a legislator is this whole issue of social justice and people looking at diversity as is some kind of program that highlights or gives opportunities to people based on a mandate, when in fact there are studies after studies that shows diversity equity is good for business. And I approach it from an economic lens. It's not about just giving people opportunities just because of the color of their skin or their gender. It is about, and if you married, if you know that having a woman next to your side is good for your mental health, your spiritual health, and your physical health, because most men don't know what we're doing. And so it is for that reason alone that we need to have women and have diversity, because of the thought process and the ideas alone that are good for business. Amen. It's not about quotas. And so as a legislator, that always bothered me, because if you look at the data, it says diversity is good for business. And if we want to empower and lift all boats and move our region forward, then this should not be an issue of debate. So thank you, Ruben. It's truly an honor to share this platform with you once again here at the Monona Terrace. Dr. Rubin is not just a friend. Many of you who know that we go back, I call him my big bro. I call him the Blueprint. That's my nickname for him. But his dedication to social justice, economic empowerment, has been a source of hope and progress in our region, and his unwavering commitment to fostering inclusiveness in our community where every individual has the opportunity to thrive. It truly sets him apart. And working alongside Dr. Anthony is not only an honor, but a continual source of inspiration. Your leadership, Doc, and vision have been instrumental in shaping the trajectory of our collaborative efforts. Your unwavering dedication to fostering innovation, diversity, and unity has not only inspired me, but has set a benchmark of what we can achieve together. I'm proud of our partnership between our organizations, and I'm indeed proud each and every one of you are here today and you continue to support our missions and vision. It's the collective effort of our business and civic community, supported by esteemed partners like co-presenting sponsors Alliant Energy and UW Health, that brings this event to life every year. As we sit here surrounded by the energy of anticipation of what the day holds, I encourage you all to take a moment to appreciate the breadth of support from our event sponsors listed in your program. Their commitment is a testament to the strength of our community. And as you navigate through today's sessions, I urge you to extend your gratitude to any representatives from these organizations you may encounter, because they have played and they continue to play a pivotal role in making our event a reality today. MadREP, as the economic development agency for the 8-county Madison region, is deeply committed to intentionally crafting a vibrant economy that benefits everyone. Our mission is to ensure the economic well-being and quality of life for our community through job creation, retention, workforce development, and fostering a stable tax base. This mission is brought to life through Elevate Madison Region, our comprehensive economic development strategy, which you can, I don't know if it's on the website yet, Jess, but it may be. We're still waiting for the federal government to just approve us and give us the thumbs up to say they're proud of it. But this mission is brought through Elevate Madison Region, which integrates diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility across all strategic priorities for the next 5 years. The Madison region will invest in growing a sustainable, resilient regional economy, reducing barriers to workforce participation, accelerating strategic business growth, and cultivating strong talent and development retention. And yes, we will be measuring these for outcomes so we can present actual data. Together with partners like the Urban League and each one of you, we have the power to shape our destiny. Join us as we unite in action and purpose. Getting involved in economic development is a vital step towards furthering equity in our community, as it directly influences the creation of inclusive opportunities and resources that can bridge disparities and foster a more balanced and prosperous society for all members. Today, as we gather at this summit, we stand at the threshold of an era where diversity and inclusion are not merely added components, but the very foundation of economic success. Our rich discussions today, led by both local and national figures, on topics such as leveraging community engagement to drive racial equity, navigating the dynamics of multi-generational teams, something I know firsthand is very interesting and fun, AI in its relationship to diversity, equity, and inclusion, along with the depoliticizing DEI, advancing equity in the green economy, and unveiling real data on business owners of color, all underscore this crucial shift. We've listened to your invaluable feedback, leading us to offer, for the first time, 2 workshops that repeat in both the morning and afternoon by bringing facilitators from the Urban Institute and welcoming back DEI educator Chisa Miller. We're ensuring these essential conversations can engage more of you, fostering a deep understanding and commitment to action. This year's program reflects our dedication to embedding diversity and inclusion into the bedrock of economic strategy, acknowledging that our shared future prosperity hinges on the strength of our diversity. Together, we're not just adapting this new era, we're leading the way, making every effort to ensure that our actions today lay down the foundations for a more inclusive, equitable, and thriving economy. We're particularly honored to welcome speakers like Leroy Butler. Whenever I talk to him, he always throws in the Hall of Famer 2022. So Hall of Famer Leroy Butler and Michelle Gee, whose transformative leadership in promoting diversity within sports and creative industries illuminates the path we aim to tread. Her insights will undoubtedly enrich our understanding of how diversity and inclusion serve as powerful drivers of innovation and profitability. This summit represents more than a gathering. It is a clarion call to action, a call to embrace our diverse identities as strengths, to strive for a future where every person, irrespective of their background, can partake and contribute to the prosperity of our region. Today, let us engage in meaningful dialogue, build lasting connections, and commit to actions that pave the way for a community where diversity, economic equity are not just ideals, but realities. I extend my deepest gratitude to everyone for joining us today. The dedication of our teams to deliver dynamic speakers and insightful discussions year after year is aimed at deepening our collective understanding of the intrinsic link between diversity, equity, inclusion, and economic development. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Peter Tan, MadREP's board chair and executive vice president and chief design officer at Strang, as a gold sponsor of this event. Strang's exceptional work across Madison beyond, including a university research park and UW-Madison, showcases the innovative spirit that drives us. And as Peter comes to the stage, you all, I'm gonna say something really quickly about Peter. Most of you may not know, I graduate this week with my master's degree in leadership from Concordia. Don't clap, don't clap. I'm only doing it because my wife is getting her PhD and she got 4 degrees. I'm just doing it so I can keep her. That's the only reason. I did an assignment where I interviewed Peter, and I'm happy to say I got an A on it, Peter, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Jason. Well, a warm welcome to all of you. It's so great to be with you all today. So today we are united by our shared commitment to forge a more equitable and prosperous future for every member of our community. Okay, this summit represents a unique confluence of diversity, thought leadership, and creative energy, poised to ignite discussions and inspire actions that will shape the very fabric of our society. I want to give a big thank you to our sponsors for your generous support and passion for this summit, because without you, all this would not be possible. Will the MadREP Board of Directors please stand to be acknowledged? Thank you for your talent and wisdom in guiding MadREP. I am honored to serve with you to bring our region forward. And thank you to Jason Fields, our CEO, and our awesome staff at MadREP. Staff, can you raise your hand where you are? And our partners at the Urban League for your dedicated work in pulling all this together. So MadREP's mission is to lead economic development in the 8-county region to enable all businesses and people to thrive. And the emphasis is on all, and the emphasis is on the 8-county Madison region. We have many exciting things going on. Our 8-county region is on track to be designated an economic development district, that is an EDD, by the US EDA, which is the Economic Development Administration. Now, the MadREP team has been working very hard on this, and so look out for an announcement later this year when we get it. This is really exciting. The designation as an EDD will open up all kinds of exciting opportunities for funding and economic development in our region. In the past year, we have more than ever before embraced the fact that MadREP, the Madison Region Economic Partnership, serves our entire 8-county region. We have welcomed to our board of directors elected officials from every one of the counties in our EDD, and we have significantly enhanced our outreach in the region. We are stronger together. And Jason talked about the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, or CEDS, which is a strategy-driven economic development roadmap for regional collaboration. And there is an insert for it in your packet that outlines it much more. But the three main goals are reducing barriers to workforce participation, accelerating strategic business growth, and 3, cultivating strong talent development and retention. Now, successful economic development requires access to good, solid data. MadREP is now considered a trusted go-to data source for all those who want to invest and grow in our region. MadREP is a catalyst and connector for supporting and retaining local homegrown businesses, as well as attracting companies to locate in our region. Our region has some recent big wins, which we all can celebrate. The 7-acre dairy in Paola is a great example of a local success story, a beneficiary of the revolving loan fund that MadREP administered. And of course, there's that recent great news of Kikoman and Generac, 2 major companies that have chosen to locate in our region. MadREP is excited to be running the City of Madison's Biz Ready program, helping entrepreneurs prepare business plans, establish permits or licenses, and develop marketing plans. Now, our region's many successes will only be meaningful when there is equitable access for everyone, when all people and all businesses thrive in our 8-county region. We believe, and Jason eloquently talked about it earlier, that a more diverse and equitable economy is more creative, innovative, and ultimately more prosperous. So diversity, equity, and inclusion is not only the right thing to do, it is a smart thing to do. It is our competitive edge. Hence, the reason why we're gathered here today. We have a great program lined up. And as we delve into the heart of the summit, let us keep our minds open, our dialogues honest, and our intentions focused on the collective good. The path ahead may present challenges, but together we possess the resilience, the wisdom, and the creativity to overcome them. Let us work hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder to make a difference, to transform our aspirations into actions, to propel progress not just for some, but for everyone in our region. Together, let's make this summit a milestone in our journey towards a brighter, more inclusive, and prosperous future for all. So, welcome to Madison's Region Economic Development and Diversity Summit. Let the transformation begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Now I'd like to turn the stage over to Dr. Frank Burns, former president of St. Mary's Hospital. Frank Burns is the chair of the Urban League's Board of Directors. Frank, would you come forward, please?
Good morning. There we go. We're rolling. It's my honor as the 2024 chair of the Urban League of Greater Madison Board to welcome you and thank you today. All of our attendees, our staff for the Urban League and MadREP, our wonderful sponsors who make this all possible. I've been on the Urban League board since 2012, and I think you'll agree with me that this work that we're here to do today together has never been more important. Does anybody else get angry when you see our community receiving Best Places to Live awards in various categories and things of that nature, and you say, best places to work, or best places to live? For whom? For everybody? I don't think so. Does anybody else get angry when you talk to people about diversifying their boards and their leadership teams for the good of their own business and their own organization, and they say, oh, we tried, but we just couldn't find anybody suitable candidate? Look around this room. I rest my case, and to those people I say, get out of your bubble. Okay, get out of your bubble, because people are out there that will make you better and more successful if you listen to them, if you engage them, if you encourage them. This work we're doing here today, as Dr. Anthony has said, will change lives for the better for generations to come. This work that we're doing here today will change communities in our region for the better for decades to come. And we cannot stop, we will not stop until these Best Places to Live, to Work awards apply to everybody in our community. Now let's get to work on those 3 Ds: defend democracy, demand diversity, defeat poverty, and let's have a great day together. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. It is my honor to introduce to you the Office of Business and Resource Manager, Saran Oak, a very good friend. And just want to give Saran a shout out as she's representing the City of Madison Mayor. Your commitment to economic development diversity since I got here from day one has been a breath of fresh air. We've often get a chance to talk to each other and just really about where the city wants to go with economic development and her outreach as her economic development and the department runs diversity initiatives, particularly around business training, entrepreneurship, and helping businesses of color grow and expand. It's my pleasure to bring to you Saran Oak.
All right, good morning, everyone. All right, so as Jason said, I'm not the mayor. My name is Saran Oak, and I work for the City of Madison's Economic Development Division, but I am honored to be here today to speak on behalf of the mayor. So it's always exciting to be in a space where business and community leaders are committed to advancing workplace and economic inclusion, and it's great to see the numbers growing every year. I've been here, I think, this is my 7th year maybe, so it's so great to see a crowded room today. So this shows us that more of us are recognizing and embracing the fact that economic inclusion is fundamental in diversity efforts. I know you'll have a great session today, and so I hope you soak up all the information, learn from each other, and allow new knowledge and ways of thinking to continue to shape your own work. At the city, a main priority remains to support businesses with keen attention to small and minority-owned businesses. To that end, we have many programs, tools, and resources, including, and first of all, I want to shout out to my folks in the Office of Business Resources and Economic Development Division, so Table 14. They've done a lot of good work. And our colleagues in HR as well. I think they've done a lot of great work in advancing workplace equity in our city. So some of the programs include our Commercial Ownership Assistance Program, funding for underrepresented business owners to purchase and renovate commercial space. That is an amazing program started by Mike Miller, so you could reach out to him if you're looking to purchase commercial space. Also, our SEED grant and HRAP is a program that supports food-based businesses to increase access to healthy foods in our neighborhoods. We've got many other programs, such as our facade improvement grant. Tom Otto's here, he's the program manager for that. Our building improvement grant, Ruth Rolick is here for that as well. These are all grants that would support entrepreneurs to help improve their commercial space. We have our colleague Megan here as well, who runs our street vending program, and that is a program that supports a lot of small minority-owned businesses in running our food carts that you see in the Capitol and throughout the city. And so a lot of initiatives that the city does also include contracting equity and procurement. It's a citywide initiative that involves multiple agencies who reviews, analyze, and implements equitable policies that increase opportunities for women and people of color. We have our Targeted Business Enterprise Program that works to ensure small, minority, and women businesses maximize their opportunities to compete for city contracting. And also our ACRE program, well, it's not our program, it's a program actually run by LIS. It's a nonprofit organization out in Milwaukee. It stands for the Associates in Commercial Real Estate, which is an industry-supported initiative that recruits and retains people of color for careers in commercial real estate. And the goal of the ACRE program is to expand diversity and inclusion in the commercial real estate industry, including fields of development, property management, and construction. And so we've partnered with LIS for the last few years. They've graduated over 300 students and celebrating their 20th year this year. And so we're proud to partner with them. We've helped sponsored folks from Madison to participate in the program. We have about 12 Madison alum, including myself. I graduated from the program in 2021. And the ACRE grads are doing great things in our community. You'll see some new developments that are actually created by our ACRE grads, so it's very exciting. And because of this, because of the great work that the ACRE grads are doing, we've also launched this year an ACRE pre-development grant program, which supports the ACRE graduates in with a $50,000 grant to help cover the cost of pre-development funds. We know that capital is a huge barrier for a lot of people when it comes to commercial real estate, especially for folks of color, so we wanted to make sure that we help eliminate some of those barriers. And lastly, I think the mayor also wanted to mention the importance around partnership to foster workforce development, training, and support. So she's always thinking, where are the gaps in our workforce development pipeline? Who are the major players along that pipeline? How do we better coordinate so it's easier for people to get the training they need and for employers to get staffing that's required? So she hopes that these questions can help to encourage thinking and discussion around topics as you think about economic development and inclusion. And then lastly, if you live in the city of Madison, we hope that you are following budget conversations. You could follow them by watching our Common Council and Finance Committee meetings on the city's award-winning channel. It's also streamed on YouTube, and the Common Council office is hosting several meetings in the community. And then we hope that you could attend and participate. So thank you and enjoy the conference.
Thank you, Saran. It is my honor, and I'm pleased to welcome up our next speaker, Mackenzie Boyce. And it's now my immense privilege to introduce her, whose insightful research is guiding us toward a more inclusive understanding of economic development. Mackenzie Boyce currently advancing her PhD in agricultural and applied economics at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, stands at the intersection of rigorous academic research and the practical needs of community economic development. With an academic foundation that spans from a bachelor's degree in agribusiness and agricultural communications at Oklahoma State University to a master's degree in agricultural economics from Mississippi State University, Mackenzie has explored pivotal areas that shape the lives of communities ranging from telework and financial literacy, one of my personal favorites, to broadband adoption and, crucially, the facets of quality of life. Her work recognizes that the fabric of our communities is woven from diverse threads, each representing different philosophies of economic development. In an era where our understanding of progress evolves, shifting our focus from purely economic indicators to encompass the well-being of individuals, Mackenzie's presentation today offers us a nuanced exploration of these various philosophies. She will guide us through an analysis that just exposes different approaches to economic development, highlighting how they have manifested within Wisconsin and the Madison region. Her insights invite us to consider a broader spectrum of success metrics, recognizing that true progress is measured by the quality of life afforded to our communities. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Mackenzie Boyce as she shares her compelling research and a vision for a multifaceted approach to economic development.
Thank you so much for the introduction. As he mentioned, I'm Mackenzie Boyce, a second-year PhD student here at UW-Madison in agricultural and applied economics. And today I'll be sharing with you a few different metrics looking at the quality of life in Wisconsin and the Madison region. Next slide. So we kind of think about economic growth and development going through a few different waves of thinking. So the first wave was really focused on industrial recruitment, focused on trying to attract industries and companies to come to your community. The second wave of economic development thinking was focusing on smaller existing business, and then it kind of transitioned into government and private partnerships. And now we're in this fourth wave of economic development thinking, focusing on placemaking and quality of life, which covers a lot of the topics that have already been mentioned today, like homeownership and workforce development, really focusing on the people in a community, what makes those people want to stay in that community, move in that community, and be able to work in that community and contribute to the community. Next slide. So starting with just a simple metric looking at population growth in the Madison region, the US, and Wisconsin. So Wisconsin is the green line, the United States is the blue line, and the Madison region is the red line. So Wisconsin's population growth is below the United States, but the Madison region has a population growth index above that of Wisconsin. Next slide. So then looking at the percent of the population by race and ethnicity in the United States, Wisconsin, and across the different counties that make up the Madison region, we can see that in Wisconsin and across the Madison region, the United States has a higher percent of the population belonging to different race and ethnic groups highlighted here. And specifically within the Madison region, counties like Jefferson and Brock have above or a higher percent of the population in the Hispanic and Latino population than the state. And Dane County has a higher percent of the population who is Asian than that figure in the state. Next slide. So then moving into educational attainment, which is another important consideration when we're thinking about the people in our community. So here I have the percent of the population with a high school diploma or higher. The United States is the blue bar, Wisconsin is the orange bar, and the Madison region is in gray. So we can see that the non-Hispanic white population has the highest percent of the population with a high school diploma across these different geographies. The Black or African American, American Indian or Alaska Native, and Asian population are all relatively similar in terms of educational attainment, being around 90% in the Madison region. However, the Hispanic population has a lower educational attainment in terms of the percent of the population with a high school diploma or higher. Next. Changing that threshold to looking at educational attainment as the percent of the population with a bachelor's degree or higher across the United States, Wisconsin, and the Madison region. This now paints a little bit of a different picture. We see that the Asian population has the highest educational attainment level in terms of the percent of the population with a bachelor's degree or higher. And the Madison region, for most of these ethnic or racial groups, is actually higher than in Wisconsin or in the United States. However, for the Black or African American population, the Madison region is a little bit behind the US, but still above the state of Wisconsin. Next, moving into employment, so looking at the employment to population ratio, which is a way of looking at how well the economy is providing jobs for people who want to work. It's another kind of employment alternative employment measure to the unemployment rate. So for a lot of counties in the Madison region, it's around 0.5, but in Dane County and Sauk County, it's a little bit higher than the rest of the Madison region. So next, looking at net jobs, which this is a figure from the state of Wisconsin Department of Revenue commuter patterns, which I think is interesting. So net jobs is the number of workers in a municipality minus the number of residents in that municipality. So a positive number here indicates there's more workers commuting into an area, and a negative number here indicates there's more workers commuting out of that area. So if we look at the Madison region, we see that in Madison specifically, there's a lot of people commuting in, and then as we would expect, the areas surrounding Madison, there's a lot of people commuting out of those municipalities, likely into Madison. So then, now that we kind of see that job picture and that there's a lot of people that commute in the Madison region, what are the earnings? So the median earnings in the United States and Wisconsin are pretty comparable, with being around $42,000, and they are a little bit higher in the Madison region, around $45,000. So then looking at median household income by race, I'll just highlight a few things here, but I wanted to provide the complete picture for anyone who might want to look at this later. But so looking across different races, we can see that there's a lot of differences when we look at the United States, Wisconsin, and across the Madison region. So a few things that I'll point out is that for the Black or African American population, which is illustrated by the orange bars, in Dodge, Greene, and Sauk counties, the median household income for the Black or African American population is quite a ways above the state and national levels. And for the American Indian and Alaska Native populations in gray, Columbia County has a median household income for this group quite a ways above the national and state median household income level. For the Asian population, Dodge and Greene County have a median household income level that's comparable to the US and quite a ways above the state median household income for this population. Then looking at housing, which is another very important consideration when we're thinking about people in our area, how much does it cost to live here? So the median housing value for the United States is around $282,000, which is very comparable to the Madison region, with it being $280,000. However, the Madison region median housing value is quite a ways above the median housing value in the state of Wisconsin, about $50,000 more. Next, looking at rent, the median gross rent in the United States is about $1,300, about $1,000 in the state of Wisconsin, and then about $1,100 in the Madison region. So we see some variation there, and again, is a very important consideration when we think about how feasible it is for people to live in the community. So next, I kind of transition into looking at occupied housing units and looking at of units that are occupied by by people living in them. Are those owner or renter occupied, which is an interesting consideration in terms of financial literacy or homeowner education that is ongoing work of different organizations. So in the United States, in Wisconsin, and across the Madison region, in terms of all populations, the majority of units are owner-occupied. If we take out Dane County, who likely has a large rental population associated with the university, over 60% of occupied housing units are owner-occupied. Then if we break this down by different race and ethnicity groups, it paints a little bit of a different picture and points out a potential need or opportunity to focus on. So when we look at white occupied housing units, the majority of housing units that are occupied by white individuals are owner-occupied. Over 50% of these are owner-occupied. Looking at the Black or African American occupied housing units, we see a large difference compared to the previous slide. Now, the clear majority of Black or African American occupied housing units are renter occupied. With the exception of Columbia County, over 70% of housing units for the Black or African American population are rented. For the American Indian and Alaska Native populations, occupied housing units, with the exception of Greene County, where there's a large margin of error in the data, over 50% are renter occupied. For the Asian occupied housing units, more are owner occupied, but for the most part, there's still a clear majority that are renter occupied. And then for the Hispanic or Latino occupied housing units, we see the same picture, that a lot of these are rented units, which again ties back to the financial literacy and home ownership education platforms or programming, that there's an opportunity here to potentially explore further and incorporate into our work of why is this happening, how can it be, how can we help? Then looking at homeownership rates in the Madison region is in red, the blue is the Wisconsin, and the green line is the US. So we can see that the Madison region has higher homeownership rates than Wisconsin in the United States, and it's also on a clear upward trend, and Wisconsin has homeownership rates that are above the national average. So now some of the more recent work that I've been working on with people in the applied agricultural and applied economics department here, as well as an extension, is on quality of life, which is kind of considering that people are willing to pay more in housing costs and are willing to accept lower wages to live in a higher quality of life or more desirable place. So if a place is really nice and you want to live there, you're willing to pay more to live there, and you're also willing to accept lower wages in order to live in your preferred location. Alternatively, if it's not as desirable of a location and you don't necessarily want to live there, then you're going to want to pay lower housing costs, and you'll demand higher wages in order to justify kind of living in that area. So in this research, we look at, we kind of exploit this relationship and look at average housing costs and wages in an area to see what is higher, lower quality of life across counties in the United States. Here I'm just focusing on Wisconsin. So in this map, the light blue represents the lowest quality of life counties, so the set of lowest quality of life counties. And then as you increase to darker shades of blue, this represents higher quality of life places. So we see that Dane County is among the lowest quality of life places. And again, this is determined looking at wages and housing costs. And all the areas surrounding Dane County tend to have a higher quality of life. Specifically, for example, Jefferson County is among the highest quality of life counties in the state. So what matters for quality of life? What would kind of change those relative rankings, or what's important to a location quality of life determination? So social capital measures, this can be things like social associations, organizations, and here I have a graph looking at the social association rates across the Madison region, and this is the number of social organizations per 1,000 residents. So we can see that there are a lot of social organizations available to people in the Madison region, but there's of course always an opportunity to increase that, and this is a way to have community members become more engaged, but it's also in terms of increasing the number of social organizations as a strategy of improving the quality of life. It's important to consider what type of social associations are offered. Maybe there's gaps to fill in order to provide social associations for a broader set of individuals in those communities. Lower crime rates are also important to quality of life, as well as charitable contributions from people are associated with higher quality of life areas, which may be a sign of wanting to give back or participate, further engagement in your community. Built capital is also important. Housing stress is associated with lower quality of life. So if it's very unaffordable for people to live in a community, that's not the best sign for quality of life. And traffic volume is another consideration. That's important. Health factors are important, considering the food environment available in communities, how accessible things like grocery stores or the diversity of restaurants and that type of thing in your community. And access to mental health services also popped out as being an important thing to have available in communities that offer a higher quality of life. And then finally, business structure was identified as being important. So newer firms and supporting entrepreneurship is associated with a place having a higher quality of life. So quality of life in the research is shown to be a very important consideration for economic growth and development thinking. However, it's not the only way. Of course, there's other strategies and former ways that can certainly still be used, but I think that the trend is definitely leading to focusing on people, and it sounds like a lot of the work that you all are doing definitely fits within this placemaking component. So it's important to consider the people that are in your community and how you can kind of from the ground up focus on the people, which will then contribute to overall economic growth and development in an area. Each community must identify their own comparative advantage. All communities have a different reason for why people might want to live and work in that community. So identifying what that comparative advantage is for your community is an important aspect in moving forward. In terms of thinking about how to implement or improve the quality of life in your community, it's important to consider how can a place be attractive to households with different backgrounds, and who is this a nice community for? Thinking about kind of what the needs of the community are, how can it be improved for everyone? And I'm excited to participate in the rest of the event today and kind of leave you with these thoughts of quality of life as you think about and attend sessions on things like community engagement and business owners of color, kind of thinking about how you can support the people in your community as you work on economic growth and development. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mackenzie. I'm getting my steps in today. Now I'm filled with immense gratitude as I welcome to the stage Ashwini Rao, who graciously represents our co-presenting sponsor, Alliant Energy. It's remarkable to reflect on the unwavering support Alliant Energy has extended to us since the very beginning and now over 11 years ago. I also wish to express my personal appreciation for Alliant Energy's continued partnership with MadREP. Now into my third year with this esteemed organization, under the leadership of David DeLeon in Wisconsin and with his valuable participation on our executive committee, we've benefited greatly from wisdom and leadership. These contributions have been vital to our ongoing development and success. Please everyone join me in expressing our heartfelt thanks to Alliant Energy and Ashwini with a round of applause.
Good morning. As Jason, let's try that again, shall we? Good morning, Madison. Good morning. As Jason mentioned, my name is Ashwini Rao, and I'm a Senior Community Development Specialist at Alliant Energy. I'm very excited to be able to introduce our morning keynote speaker, but before I do that, I would like to thank the Madison Region Economic Partnership and the Urban League of Greater Madison for putting together yet another stellar diversity summit. Alliant Energy is proud to be a presenting sponsor of the summit, and I am personally looking forward to a day of learning, and I hope you are too. Many of you are familiar with our energy products and services, such as natural gas and electricity to homes and businesses. But did you also know that we work with communities and community partners like MadREP in various communities across Iowa and Wisconsin? Now, you might ask us, why do we do that? I asked myself that question a couple of years ago. But the reason is very simple. Having a seat at the table is important, as it helps to learn from each other, collaborate on ideas, and develop new initiatives together. The reason for this is so that we can help create vibrant and successful communities all across Wisconsin and in Iowa. Success in economic development is also reliant on a strong workforce. Diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts are a big part of retaining and recruiting workforce in our communities. This is true at Alliant Energy as well. Each day, we strive to create a workplace where people feel they belong and can bring their unique perspectives, talents, and backgrounds to the table. This focus continues to be a cornerstone of our company, and that extends to the customers and companies we serve. Now, finally, to the main reason I'm here. I'm honored to introduce our morning keynote speaker, Mr. Leroy Butler. He needs no introduction, but we have to do this. Many of you know that Mr. Butler is a former professional football player who spent all 12 years of his career with the Green Bay Packers. His accomplishments in football are many, including having played in 181 games, earning a Super Bowl ring in 1996. He was selected as an All-Pro and selected to the Pro Bowl 4 times. He was inducted into the Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame in 2007, and in 2022 was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But did you know that Mr. Butler is credited with inventing the Lambeau Leap? So who does know that? So apparently that spontaneous leap into the arms of fans back in 1993 started a tradition that lives on today. Before his time with the Packers, Leroy overcame many obstacles, including growing up in poverty and physical disabilities. He spent much of his early life in a wheelchair and leg braces. At 8 years old, he discovered he could walk and run without his braces. This marked the beginning of his journey towards athletic excellence. Since retiring from football, he has enjoyed speaking with youth about his journey, sharing his experiences, and encouraging them to persevere towards their dreams. We are thrilled to have him join us and share his inspiration. Please, again, join me in welcoming Leroy Butler to the stage.
Good morning. This is amazing. Those of you in here, if you know Jason, if he told you anything about me, don't believe it. I'm dead serious. I'm very, very excited today because I'm going to do something that normally athletes, don't tell them I said this though, that they don't like to talk about and to do. First of all, they don't like to meet strangers and have like 50 or 60 bodyguards and all this like big entourage of people. And I was like, I don't need that. We're in Wisconsin. We don't even have TMZ here. I mean, you can do what you want. That's why I don't understand why guys want to leave Wisconsin. But I love talking to people who may not know me, maybe you've heard, or maybe you know just a little, because I think once I'm done, you'll know where my thinking comes from and basically how I grew up. Now, I'm Leroy Butler. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised in the inner city. And when the young lady was introducing me, when we talk about poverty, I know they have poverty, they have poor or whatever, but I grew up in extreme poverty with a single parent. My mom and dad got a divorce when I was like 4 years old. And I was thinking about, you know, every day you wake up and I'm in the inner city, I'm in the projects, and it was called the Blodgett homes. And the thing about it was you really don't, as a kid, you don't pick where you were born, or you don't even pick your relatives. Some of them I wish I did, right? I'll talk about that later. So you just kind of wake up and you're just like, okay, everything is fine, and you know. And my mom was my hero. She was the leader of the family. And to me, I just wanted to understand the toughness that she had to go through raising 5 kids by herself. And when you're growing up in this neighborhood, it was called the Blodgett homes again, but it was for crime, violence, you name it, it was that bad. So when you're going through that as a kid, it's dangerous. You're walking around, you never know what can happen. But for me, on top of all of that, I was disabled. I had braces on my legs. I even met Tom Hanks and told him I was Forrest Gump before he was. Way before you made that movie, I wore those braces. And yet, you know those white corrective shoes? It didn't work. But the doctor, oh yeah, that'll work, he's fine. He'll be fine. I was extremely pigeon-toed. My feet were like this. And they gotta try to get them like this. So for me, there was no swimming pool, because we had a swimming pool right across the street at the community pool. Couldn't go. There was no like mall trips, no. Sleepovers, no. Nothing. But I used to sit on the porch and wave at the other kids as they were going to the pool. And it's 95 degrees and I'm sweating. And my mom, it used to break her heart in a way. But she also knew that I like to see other people happy, because I'm always happy. And I'll prove it to you. We're at church. Now I'm from down south. We go to church like 15 days a week. I'm like, Mom, doesn't Jesus have a family? Why are we here on a Wednesday after school? And she would say something, and I'm like, okay. But it's Friday. People go out on Friday. Why are we in church? So we're in church. And I used to be very shy, very, very shy, extremely shy. I used to hug my mom's leg. I'm so shy, because I thought kids were weird, you know? Because they used to always bully and pick on me for no apparent reason. And she said, listen, you got to stop this. It's about 200 kids in our church, but they had to go down in like the basement. I'm like, I don't want to go. It stinks down there. The kids, they don't talk to me. She said, I want you to go learn everybody, mom and dad's name and their name. Just like you're going to a new company. I'm in a new company. I walk in, and nobody's talking to me. And I'm at my little cubicle, and I'm thinking, okay, I got to get up and go get some water, and I hope nobody's at the fountain, because I don't want to talk to them. But then you find out one of the young ladies and the young man is going to work on a project with you. Oh boy, my networking skills got to come out, because it's about the company. That's what my mom was telling me. So when I went down there, it took a while. Yes, it was weird, me going up to kids, hi, I like pizza, do you like this? Knowing I'd never had pizza, but I just said it. Just because you try to find something common with people that you work with that you don't know. And it took about 6 months. I knew every kid, mom and dad's name and his name. And it was fine. My nickname was Deek, D as in dog, D-E-A-C. He said, why is that your nickname? Well, in the church, they thought I was going to be a deacon. And this is my chance to brag, because Wikipedia does not have this. I just sit up there with the pastor and his guys, deacons, and I would hold his rag when he was sweating, and I'd give it to him, right? Where was social media? I'm like 7, 8 years old, and I know when to give it to him. Don't just go up there like you're James Brown and put a cape on him. No, you give him his space, but you just gotta know. You just have to know. So the other kids were giving me dirty looks, and they were just really just giving me a hard time. I was like, no. My mom said, get to know people you don't know. That's the real true heart of a champion and a volunteer, helping people. So I'll tell you one more church story, because this is hilarious. It was my turn to get baptized. Now, I don't know why the whole church needs to know this, because they put it on a chalkboard. They put your name up there, and they say, what Sunday that you're going to get baptized? my name came up, Butler. So I said, nah, I'm not doing it. So I left. Okay, like 6, 7 weeks later, it's my turn again. And the pastor's like, are you gonna do it? I said, oh yeah, okay. No, I'm not. Chicken out again. The third time, so my sister is kind of my hero too. She said, listen, it's just like swimming. So they're gonna give you a rope. You're only gonna be under for a while. Well, no, it's just like taking a bath. I say, well, I'm a kid, I skip baths. She said, that's disgusting, but don't tell me now. I said, yeah, but I don't put my head under. I don't wash my hair, I don't have any hair. So she said, okay, you gotta do it. Okay. So one of my good friends, he gave me some gargles, and he gave me his little brother had the little floater things, and I put them on because they said it was like swimming. So the pastor, they pull out this like middle board, and you go down in the water, and the pastor, once he gets wet, you got to do it. So he walks down there, and my heart is just fluttering. I go down. So he sees me with these gargles on, and these things, and he's telling the young lady, the head usher, whatever works, let's just get it over with, okay? So I got baptized, and then we came up, the whole church was laughing, and then my mom, all these ladies came over to my mom, and they said, why does your son always smile? Oh my God, it's so annoying. Why is he always just happy? Because they know we're the poorest family. Why is he so happy? And my mom, she said, because he knows how his life is going to end. But wait a minute. No, Miss Butler, no. He's at the children's hospital, it's called Hope Haven, 3 days a week doing physical therapy, getting mental therapy. You have to tell your kid, why can't you run and jump like the other kids? It didn't matter to me because I told my mom, I'm going to play in the NFL to help you pay bills. Then my grandmother transitioned that language to, don't say that, just say poverty. It kind of brings everybody in. And my granddad said, no, just say you're poor. I said, okay, but I want to play in the NFL. Now, everybody thought it was funny. Maybe it was. But African-American in the inner city, single parent, because they say most of the single parent kids get in trouble. It's not true. I'm a living witness that my mom is my hero. She's everything to me. I used to tell the teacher, call the police before you call my mom. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to call your mom. No, please call the sheriff. Don't call my mom. But as I was growing up, and I'm giving you all the context of what my thinking is. So when I went to school, I'm on a bus, and I come down, and my teacher, Miss Brown, she's waiting for me, and she walks me to the class. All the kids were saying all this derogatory, mean stuff. Some of it was mean, and I'll be honest, some of it was racist too. But some of it was just demeaning and all kinds of stuff. But people told me that because I didn't hear it. Because I went to my grandparents' house. She said, God gave everybody a talent, but you got to figure out what it is. I said, wait a minute, Grandma. Wait. I've never been to the mall. I've never had a corn dog before. Never had pizza. No friends. I got braces on my feet. And yes, I was in a wheelchair at times. What's my talent? And my granddad took over. He said, you have a unique talent. Nothing bothers you. Nothing bothers you. So my grandmother said, I'm going to show you. Now, full disclosure, my grandmother played the horses. But whatever works, right? She said, now, you see on television, we're watching these horses. They got their blinders on, and they stay in their lane. They don't go over here. They don't go over there. Now, horses may say something. Jockeys may say something. It don't bother them. That's your gift. You didn't even know the kids were bullying you because you ignored them. You can't fight people for saying something. You stay focused. And my granddad was like, okay, now, we don't want you to grow up to be a gambler, but grandma's true. Because I'm the only one, because I used to write out Avon for her, for guys. It's like a cosmetic thing, and never mind, y'all. But I used to write it out because she had arthritis, and she would give me 50 cents. Every time she would give me 50 cents. So my cousins, brothers, sisters, everybody, they weren't over there. I go every weekend. And then the following, couple weeks or so, I had like $11, and my sister, where'd you get all this money? You stole it. I say, no, Grandma gave it to me, because I actually go help her, and I need that knowledge. And this is, she told me something that changed my life. She said, teachers are the smartest people in the world because God give them the ability to teach kids things they need to do to be what you want to be. When I heard that, it changed my life. So every day I went to school, it was like going to church. I listened to my teacher because she or he was my hero. And everything was fantastic. And it just changed my life. I'm in the 8th grade and still no friends or nothing. Nobody invited me to sleepovers, no malls, still none of that going on. And yes, they said, there's that guy. You wear hand-me-downs. Your brother wore that outfit 2 weeks ago. I said, you're wrong, you're wrong. He had it on yesterday. And I'm okay with it, because I'm not in school for a fashion show. I'm in school to learn from the smartest people in the world. No, they're not. Wait, what? I got offended. What are you saying that Mr. Johnson is not the smartest? I'll prove it. Let's just have a discussion. Who's the smartest people in the world? They would name it astronauts and Einstein and all these people. And I just waited patiently. They don't wake up and do surgery on brains and feet, hearts. They all had teachers. But they listened. That's how they made it. And I do get offended when I see guys get awards and don't think they're teachers. Because trust me, they don't do it for the money. They don't. No, absolutely not. But so it was amazing to me. So now I'm finna get ready to go to high school. Oh boy, I gotta get some water on this one, man. High school, this is y'all first class. Y'all got ice in y'all water. I don't even think the Packers have ice in our water. Get it out the faucet. I grew up on faucet water. I turned out all right. But this is going to be very impactful. So now in the 9th grade, they pick your high school. This is Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County. So my 9th grade coach, Hammond Gracie, says, you're going to Terry Parker High School. I said, great, because they had a good football program. So I go there because I'm going to the 9th grade. So that summer, I can practice with the team in the spring. And it was amazing because my hero at the time was their running back, Wayne Gallman. His son played in the league for the Giants. And I'm practicing. And next thing you know, my mom gets a letter. Miss Butler, Leroy Butler, is not going to Terry Parker. He's going to Lee High School. That's on the west side, far. But they did it by last name, so everybody can go to a good school. So I'm thinking, all right, fine. Then my mom said, I need to talk to you now. I said, what? The school is Robert E. Lee. And, I was like, the Confederate general? They gave him a school? Here's my mom, though. This is what she does. It's not about the school you enter the building. It's about the person who enters it, because the last thing they see is the name on the back of your jersey. I said, damn, Mom, that's too deep. Give me the Cliff Notes. She said, well, go make a change. If you don't like something, don't complain. Go change it. So now I get into school, and it's amazing because I'm playing JV football. The coach Corky Rogers, he was amazing. But now he's like everything you need in a coach. And half of the kids were African American, half of the kids were white. And he brought us in together and said, listen, there's only one color in here, and it's blue. It was blue and gray, big blue. So that taught me in a locker room, when you come in, we don't care about anything else. It's the ultimate team sport. Because remember, I'm a special needs kid. That's why I chose football. 10 other guys are going to help me win a Super Bowl. And I'll get to that later. So Coach Rogers is like, this is great. But think about the South. It's a lot of stress. Where you go to high school, if you want to be an accountant, you had to go to Sandalwood. If you want to be a lawyer, you go to different high schools. For me, it's almost as if God was like guiding me to get me to Lee High School with the best football program. They've never lost to a city team. Terry Parker, well, never mind. But thank you, God. So I get over there, and it's amazing. No problems. Fine. So I play 6 games of JV. Oh, if there's a Bears fan in here, JV means when you play before you get to varsity. Well, come on. We have to be nice to them. Come on. That's the only Bears joke, I promise. I promise I won't tell no more Bears jokes. My grandkids say if you cross your fingers, you can get away with it. But so everything's fine. They're going to move up. We play 6 games. So 4 games are left on varsity. But they're going to move up 6 kids. So I'm thinking to myself, if you get one of those jerseys, oh, boy, the girls may even notice you after that. Because trust me, they didn't know I existed. But it's okay. So sitting in algebra wondering, who in the world invented algebra? I just don't understand where they get these subjects from. This has nothing to do with me getting into the NFL. I'm saying it to myself. And I saw the coach come in. I said, oh, it's for me, right? Walked in, said something to Miss Gordon, and he left. I said, oh, man. The bell rings. So I come out, and when I made an immediate left, I saw him standing on the wall, and he had a jersey. He said, Mr. Butler, come here. I said, yes, sir. It's for you. I said, wait, why didn't you give it to me in the classroom? He said, because had I given you this jersey in the classroom, you would have jumped out of the window. I said, you're right. So thank you. Now, I was a safety, and the number was 52. I don't care. It changed my life. I'm like, all the other JV kids, except for 6, your season's over. So on Friday, you wear your jersey to school. And yes, my brother had on these Sears Roebuck jeans. I had to wear them on Friday. I washed them out in the sink. We do not put it on the line because people will steal it. You hang it in the bathroom. So my sister's like, when are your jeans going to dry? I got to take a bath. I said, you got to wait because I'm wearing these with my jersey. So my sister taught me how to iron the jersey. It was awesome. So when I got in 11th grade, I was a pretty decent football player. My 12th grade year, I was okay. But towards the end of the season, that's when I felt the talent that I had inside of me. And I was a consensus All-American. I was one of 33 players in 100 years in the state of Florida to be one of the best players. So that was like a big deal. So I'm like, okay, Mom, how many people in our family has ever gone to college? I thought she was going to say maybe a handful, maybe 10, 15. She said, nobody. I said, no, Mom. They have like a family tree, and it's like names on it. Somebody had to go to college. She said, no, listen. The tree, the leaves, the roots, the bark, Nobody's ever going to college. You'd be the first. I said, no way, this is awesome. But then you know how my life is trending up? Everybody's going through this. It starts to go down. Got a letter, and Ms. Gordon, my favorite teacher, says you can't go to college because you didn't pass the SAT test. I said, WTF. We used to do that around kids, but not, wait, know what you're saying. Be quiet. But, because my mom would say never curse, of course, but I was like, my life's over. I can't get to the NFL. I already have anxiety from being bullied, poverty, single parent. I hear all this negative stuff, and now I can't get to college. But here it is. God is good. My teacher looked at the fine print. I said, what's the fine print? She said stuff that guys never look at, but women do. Guys just want to know the terms. We don't. Well, I don't. That's why they put it on the television and it goes off, whatever. It says you can still come to college, but you're just not eligible your freshman year. So I said, no college is going to give me a scholarship. And before that announcement, I got letters from everywhere because I was a consensus All-American. Every college wanted me. Well, except for Wisconsin, but I won't hold it. It might have did me a favor, I don't know. So I'm thinking, okay, it's over. But I have something that my mom used to tell me. It's called one yes. Be that one yes for somebody you don't know. Say yes to them and help them. You're going to get a million no's, but be that one yes. And that one yes for me was Coach Bobby Bowden, Florida State. I said, what? Yeah, so she said, he wants you to call him. I have a phone? So my teachers, she gave me 4 quarters. Because you have to go to a phone booth. Same one like Superman. But I have anxiety and I have claustrophobia because I didn't want to I thought the door wouldn't open. So you leave it open, but it may not be safe. So I got to call Coach Bowden on this phone, and I said to myself, now this is extreme poverty. I got 4 quarters. I can go get me a fruit punch and 2 rock and roll cookies with this. Or call and go to college. I think I'll go to college. I say, hello, this is Leroy Butler. Yeah, hold for Mr. Bowden. I said, whoa, this is big time. I never heard like elevator music, and this is amazing. I'm on hold. This is how Coach Bowden talk. What's going on now, young man? I say, yes, sir. This is Mr. Butler. Yeah, this is Coach Bowden, and I gotta do a home visit. I said, no, you don't. No, you can't come to my house. Coach, do you know my address? Yes, I'm looking at your bio. I was like, and I didn't know this. That's why I love teachers. I didn't know what a bio was. My teachers, principal, they wrote up stuff about me and sent it to the school. I was like, they did that for me? I was just blown away. So he was telling me, I said, Coach, because I'm thinking if he sees where I am in the projects, there's no way he's going to give me a scholarship. I don't want this kid at my university. But he didn't say that. He insisted. I said, okay, fine. Meet me at the local gas station. I'll be on my bike. Now, I was like 17-ish, and I had a bike. And I know kids get cars at 15 now. Think of that. So I'm waiting for them, and it was like, my heart's just pounding because I don't want nothing to happen. I don't want like helicopters going over and the SWAT team kicking the door down. I'm thinking all of this is going to happen and ruin it for me. So I see these 4 cars coming down, burgundy. Well, we say garnet, but it's burgundy. They're coming down. It's Coach Bowden. I said, okay, follow me. So I'm riding. So now I get close to the hood, right? And the boys are like, who the hell is that? What? That's Coach Bob. Oh, wait, why is Leroy following? Why they following it? And then say, come on down. They're going to his house to give him a scholarship. Tired. Now, some of these people I didn't want to come down there. Some of these criminals, I said, no, man, I'm good. No, I'm good. Y'all don't ruin it for me. Get out of here. So we're coming down, and Coach Bowden gets out. And it was like, I mean, for that area, you were probably always told somebody like Coach Bowden wouldn't come into projects. He came inside, and he said, Miss Butler, I got to get him out of here, because my teachers wrote the bio up, what I wanted to do. And yes, he will not be eligible his freshman year, but he can still attend. So my mom said, do you want some water? So my sister got him some water, and I saw some stuff floating on it. I said, Coach, don't drink that. Yeah, let me take that for you. Throw that away. Don't drink that. So, fine. I get to go to the university. I'm happy. So I get to go down there. My freshman year, yes, I did not play. The team was flying to play Michigan. I was outside waving to them like, guys, have a good game. And they're on the bus like, what is wrong with this guy? You should be upset you're not on the bus. I got plenty of time. I ain't in no rush. Do you know what I had to go through as a kid to get here? I'm in no rush. It's just like a company. You're out on your own, and you put out all these, you got to interview all these people. You got to interview and trust the process and take the time to get the right people. So I was no hurt. My sophomore year, I played special teams, and I started. My junior year, I was pretty good. And my senior year, now this one I said, boy, I think this is going to be a moment here now. I got a chance to meet Bob Hope. If it's some millennials, it was this famous guy, he had his own TV show. Y'all can Google it later, but I was a consensus All-American. And when you're All-American, you get the chance to meet a lot of famous people. Now, here's why I'm glad we're not filming this story I'm about to tell. So I'm assuming that red light don't mean anything. So they said, we're going to take a tour. And I'm out in Hollywood. I don't really, from the projects, I don't really know. So we drive up to this mansion, and this huge mansion. It was, wow, this is amazing. Great. So we come in, well, I call it the living room, but the rich people call it the foyer, I think. Y'all rich people call it that. So you walk there, and I'm looking around like, wow, what is going on? And I see this guy with a silk robe on, with a pipe, but it had no smoke. I said, there's my new hero right there. I don't know who that is. It was Hugh Hefner. So I'm like looking, now you got like 28 creepy young kids in this mansion. This is not a good place to be. But it's just to see what's going on. I'm thinking, okay, so what's going on? So he come out. I only got 2 rules. Don't touch the girls and don't steal nothing. And one of the guys leaned over to me and said, well, why are we here? I said, no idea. And we left. That's as far as we went, by the way. We left. And they showed us people's houses and stuff. I'm on the plane going back, and I said to myself, you know what? I may get drafted. Because if I'm a consensus All-American, man, Bob Hope, I'm going to get drafted. So I get back to the projects, right? No air conditioning. We got about 80 people packed in an apartment for the size of maybe 10. And they're packed, okay? And they're sweating. Most of the people have stole the fans from the church to be in their fan. I said, we're not getting arrested for y'all stealing fans from the church. They're just fans. It is hot. Now, here's when my life changed. My uncle, my favorite uncle, is a Bears fan. He's sitting over there. If there's some Bear fans, so you can clap. It's okay. Because my favorite aunt or aunt lives in Aurora, okay? Like Wayne's World. Never mind. Yeah. That one guy saw it. Thank you. Because she was my favorite. So he married into the family, I think, in 80, and they won the Super Bowl in 86, so he was all Bears. Go anywhere but the Packers. I don't like the Packers. They're so obnoxious, blah, blah, blah. I say, listen, full disclosure, I was a Cowboy fan, okay? Because that's the only games came on down south. So I said, I don't get a chance to pick. Whoever calls this phone, I'm accepting. And again, for the young people, I had a rotary phone. And it was on the wall. It was just phone. You still know all your talk. It's a long bungee cord from here to Green Bay. Just big old bungee cord. And if somebody walks by, it'll just randomly hang up on people. Nobody move when the phone rings. The phone rings. It's Lee Rimmel with the Green Bay Packers. I was like, this is amazing. Tom Bratz, the general manager. My heart stopped. I mean, it was as if God was talking to me. I'm serious, because I remember laying in bed as a kid, like, I want to do this. And it happened. And then I was all excited, saying something I don't even know what I said. He said, wait, before we draft you, you got to talk to the head coach. I said, okay, put him on. I'm ready to get this show started. Let's go. And then Lindy Infante of the Green Bay Packers is on the phone. He said, before we draft you, do you have any questions? I said, yes, sir. Where's Green Bay? Don't y'all play in Milwaukee? He said, well, we played 2 games in Milwaukee, but I hear everybody at the draft laughing so hard. I'm like, how does this work? Because, again, there was no internet to me to ask this lady, but I won't say her name because she'll start talking. Like, what's the weather there? You had to look at a map or look at TV or the weatherman. I didn't know. And full disclosure, in my geography class, when they talked about the Midwest, yes, I nodded off. I'm never going to Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan. Child, please. I'm going to Georgia and back. Georgia and back. Never went this. Even when I went to LA, it was a flight. The weather was the same. So I'm thinking it's 70 degrees everywhere. Little did I know. So he said, okay, wait, we're going to draft you with the 48th pick. Go watch your name. I said, I can't do that, sir. He said, why not? I said, first, I'm on a rotary phone. He laughed so hard. He said, well, can't you look? I said, no, our TV is so small, we have to watch it one at a time. It's 80 people in there, so one person will know I got drafted. He was dying laughing. But I was serious. I'm like, we didn't have the floor model TV, which you put the plant on. If it goes out, you use it as furniture. That was at Grandma's house. Here. And then the entire neighborhood heard a roar because people were starting to see it. Oh my goodness. It was pandemonium. People were screaming, yet they were so happy for me. And me having anxiety, I'm like, this is a great. And even the mayor, Tommy Hazouri, said, allegedly, there was no crime because nobody wanted to mess it up for me. That's that same kid. That's that same kid. His first new shirt came from the Salvation Army, not from a store. The same kid that was on free lunch from 0 to 12th grade, and the only reason why I got off of it because teachers put their pennies and dimes and quarters together to make sure I can get the hot portion. He just got drafted. I don't believe it. Some people didn't believe it. They had to come see. And they got the news people there. That's that kid that never wanted to get baptized. I'm like, why y'all bringing all that up? Just talk about the good stuff. And my mom was thanking God, of course, and she was amazing. I remember when I got my first check, that's a lot of money. I bought my mom a house, I bought my siblings a house. And my mom said, why don't you buy a house? I said, man, I'm in Green Bay, I'm on scholarship. Because when I got off the plane, okay, April 22nd, and then, no, it was May 2nd, that day, keep that in your head, May 2nd. So I'm on the plane going to Wisconsin for the first time, and the pilot says, it's a beautiful day in Green Bay, the wind is coming from the north, it's a beautiful 17 degrees. So my girlfriend went with me, right? So you ever seen that movie, The Exorcist, when they turn their head all the way around? Her head turned all the way around. No green stuff, though. Did he just say 17 degrees? I said, no, the pilot is from the South, like me and you. Because people down South, we just make up words, like po to do. It's supposed to do. We say supposed to do. So he just said 77. And as if he heard us, the pilot goes, I hope you have coats on because we got a cold front coming through and wind chill. And she said, what's wind chill? I said, I have no idea. Some guy gets up, who I've never seen before, and gives me his Packer jacket. His wife gave my girlfriend her jacket. These are the nicest people in the world. I get to the airport, there's 1,000 people there. Everybody got on green and gold. The dogs got on green and gold sweaters. Grandma got cheese, earrings. I'm like, do these people have jobs? What's going on? The Bears fans are like, see, I told you y'all were weird. I'm dead serious. And then I'm going down shaking people's hand. It was a 90-year-old young lady. She came up to me. I was like, what's going on? So she walking towards me. And it's like a gauntlet. She's walking in the middle of it. I said, what's going on? She says, you must never lose to the Minnesota Vikings. Okay. And then the next team, she put her cane right over my heart. And you better not lose to the Bears. Whoa. Then I said, wait, ma'am. She started to leave. I said, well, what about Tampa and Detroit? They're in our division. She turned around. You won't have any problem with those two teams. She was right. 1990, we were 6-10. Wasn't my fault. Next year, we were 4-12. Again, I had nothing to do. They got to get better players because I'm doing okay. And then Ron Wolf comes in. Now, here's when you're at a company and you got a new supervisor or a new manager, and they want to kind of go in their direction. But I don't think you do it like this. He came, Lindy Infante, we had just beat Minnesota. Lindy Infante is addressing the team after that was the last game. And Ron Wolf comes up and he says, a lot of you guys won't be in here next year because I'm trying to win a championship. And he left. So I'm saying to myself, I just got here, I ain't getting cut. But that was very impactful to tell guys in the exit meeting that there are going to be some changes. Then we got in Mike Holmgren. And then all of a sudden I heard a rumor, hey, we're getting a new quarterback. I say, BS, our quarterback is Don Mikowski. Has the best mullet since Joe Dirt. The young people are like, what's a mullet? Never mind. But Don Mikowski, Magic Man, we got Brett Favre. Came through, looked like he hadn't ironed his clothes. He just came on in and like, where's my locker? It's like, where the quarterbacks go over there. And then he asked me, because I kind of knew him because we played against each other in college. He said, where's the bubbler? Water fountain. It's over there. And then the next year, things changed. We got Reggie White. So I said, wait a minute, Reggie White's in San Francisco. He's not in Wisconsin. I heard he was going to San Francisco. Nope, he's coming to the Packers. And for 2 weeks, it was dark and didn't hear anything. Then all of a sudden, I walked by. You know how you walk by and you see something, but I really didn't see it, like a unicorn or something? That Reggie White? Now, normally, I don't talk to guys in their underwear, getting their physicals, but this Reggie White. I'm going over there, talk to Reggie White. Reggie, what are you doing here? He said, I'm coming to the Packers to change some things. I said, wow. Because Reggie sued the NFL to become a free agent. And he chose the smallest market. But it has to be more to the story. Was it anything about the Packers guaranteeing your contract? He laughed. He said, no. Holmgren called his hotel and left a message. Reggie, this is God. You should go to the Packers. And we'll be there to pick you up at the airport. And he laughed. And then Ron Wolf said, you can go anywhere, but if you come here, you'll be a legend. It was true. So Reggie comes in 1995. We got the Cowboys on the ropes. We let him off the hook because you have to learn. Just like you have to learn people's names and what they likes, their dislikes, and you come together for one team, one dream. You swipe that key card, it turns green, you leave your problems outside. Now, if you swipe it and it turns red, you just got traded. So, like, my car's not working. Dude, you're in Kansas City. Get out of here. But Reggie brought us in, and we got close. And when we got close, that's when we started to win. You got to be close to people that you trust. While you're sleeping and they're sleeping, you could wake up together and be together and make something happen. Otherwise, you can't win. And we learned that. The next year, we went to New Orleans and we played the Patriots. We had 4 interns to make sure they didn't deflate any of the footballs. Whenever I take a drink, I'll let that soak in. Okay, allegedly, the Patriots quarterback, Tom Brady, excuse me, they say deflate. I don't care. That has nothing to do with winning or losing. It's just a joke. Bill Parcells is the coach. We're in New Orleans, and then this is when your life do change, and all of a sudden, we beat the Patriots, and I'm looking at that trophy, and it says Lombardi on it, and Coach Holmgren said something that was so profound. He said, this trophy means a lot to everybody, but it means more to us because Lombardi's name is on it. And that was very impactful. And if you saw the Reggie White documentary, he had to go to a press conference. So who did he choose to babysit Jeremy, his son? Leroy, can you watch Jeremy for me? Yeah, go ahead, Reggie. Because kids love me, because I'm a sucker. That's what I mean. So we're over there drinking pop and eating candy that ain't supposed to, but I'm babysitting, right? But that winning a championship was amazing because I saw a sign say 30 years of misery has ended. Winning the Super Bowl. It was truly amazing. I mean, that's when you see grown men cry. Would you like to hear the 3 times I cried? Y'all don't want to hear that, do you? Okay, I'll tell you anyway. Well, I'm a big fan of the color purple, and the old color purple. And when they all got back at the end, I started to cry. My daughter was like, what is wrong with you, Dad? I was like, I don't know, something's in my eye. And then the Titanic, okay? I'm like watching it, and then Leonardo DiCaprio is with his girl, and they're on this small boat, right? And he looked up and said, paraphrasing, I'ma die, let you live, right? And he let go, and he's going down. He's like, bye, Leonardo. I wouldn't have done that, cuz, no. Not me. We're going to find a way to both live. I ain't doing it. So I was crying a little bit. And then the next movie is not my fault because my daughters pick movies on Tuesdays, and they picked The Notebook. But my oldest daughter said, Dad, why do you cry on the same part every time? I'm like, don't judge me. But when a grown man wins a Super Bowl, they just lose it. There is one more asterisk that guys cry. I'll tell you. I'm sorry, guys. When a guy gets a raise and his wife don't know about it. But guys, if her best friend works in HR, you know John got that new raise, child. He did. He didn't tell me. I was saving up to buy this new 30-06 gun because I want to shoot these 6 deer that's always on my property. I thought I can just buy it without telling you. Guys, just tell her. But you win a championship. It's very emotional. So, that was pretty much the highlight of my life. You going from the wheelchair and the poverty, single parent, to winning the Super Bowl. So in closing, I'm thinking that's the pinnacle of my life. No, there's a few things that happened. And I remember in 2000, Lee Remmel said, you may make the Hall of Fame because you made All-Decade. I said, what's the All-Decade? For 10 years, you was the best at your position. I was like, no, they're not going to put a safety like me in the Hall of Fame. They put that receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, not safeties. And I'm telling you, men and women that changed my life in 2022, and I'm thinking, because I was a finalist for 16 years, but patience. But under leadership of my mom, my friends, and family, I'm okay with it. Because they never knew if I made it or not, because I was never upset. I'm the same person. And when I saw Woodson come knock on the door, I thought about my mom who passed away in 2016. She said, you know what? In '09, she said, let's work on your Hall of Fame speech. I said, Mom, no, that's too narcissistic for you to say that. She said, first of all, I don't know what that means. Second of all, you got to be prepared. In any business, you got to be prepared. But I was always prepared. So we worked on the outline, and then, again, that was big for me. And then I'm thinking, okay, this is great. And then last year, Mark Murphy with the Packers said, hey, you want to be on the board? Let me think about it. Yes. So I'm on the Packer board, which we help give away money to nonprofits, millions of dollars in the state to help them. And I just appreciate that because I love helping people who I do not know. And the very last thing I'll tell you is probably what I'm probably known for other than the Hall of Fame, but people always bring this up. Back in 1993, this side of the room wasn't born yet, but 1993, somebody was like, yeah, I was. 1993, I get to the locker room, and I'm a diva. I always go check the temperature from Florida, right? I go over there, and I saw a negative, like a minus next to it, like a 20. I said, guys, is this thing broken? So I took it off the wall, assuming it was broken, but it was the kind that ain't supposed to come off the wall. It has no batteries. Okay, I just put it on the ground. So I'm thinking to myself, they're going to forfeit the game, right? We're playing the Raiders. They're from California, so that's their problem. We're going to die. My freezer at home was 32 degrees. No, go to the guys, and they'll give you stuff to keep you warm. So I went over there. I got everything. They got, a pile of stuff. This is way before COVID, man. We had the mask on with just the eyes out. All you needed was somewhere to go rob a bank. You get everything. And then there was something in there that threw me off. There was some pantyhose in there. I said, guys, what are the pantyhose for? Is it for our wives? They said, no, son, put them on to keep you warm. Women have been keeping this secret for thousands of years. So I'm putting them on, and I'm a size B, by the way. Put these things on. It's like, honey, what size is it? Don't worry about it. We'll tell you later. Then I see Reggie White, 6'5", 300 pounds, walk by in pantyhose. Oh. I said, Reggie, ooh. He said, what? I said, you got to run in yours. You got to cut your toenails before you put these things on. They say, Butler, how do you know that? Don't worry about it. Don't. So we get in the game, and I cause a fumble. Oh, a fumble for Viking fans is when you hit a guy and they let it go. Just for y'all taking Aaron Jones, you deserve that. So I cause a fumble. I don't know where it is. The ground is frozen, just like this carpet is frozen, completely frozen. So the ball comes out. I'm like, where's the ball? And then I see Bryce Pop, former Packer, number 95. He runs towards Reggie, but he falls because it's slippery. Then I see Tony Bennett, not the singer, as a linebacker named Tony Bennett. He falls. Guess who didn't fall? God is good. So I said, oh, there's Reggie. So I run over there. Then I'm thinking, earlier, Coach Holmgren said, if a defensive back, linebacker gets a fumble, interception, don't lateral the ball because it's too cold, you're going to drop it. But Reggie White is struggling to run. He's running this slow. Some guy grabs Reggie, and he's falling. And we caught eye contact as if we were going to the prom or something, boy. I said, whoa, he's going to lateral the ball. So I go over there. As I'm running, spontaneously, he just laterals me the ball. And I get the ball, right, and I'm running down. This is my first time to score. I go down there. I'm like, I got to like the 15-yard line. I said, I'm going to jump in the stand. This is cool. So I'm running, and there are people in the end zone, they're like, why isn't he stopping? Like normally when you score, you stop and go to the bench. I kept running. I threw the ball down, and I jumped up there. And I'll never forget this. This guy caught me because he had a beer in his hand. And he spilled his beer. He called me and said, man, you owe me a beer. I said, wait a minute. People in Wisconsin love beer. But I'm like, it was a Big deal. Holmgren comes over there, oh man, you're gonna get fined for this. I said, yeah, but it was spontaneous. I mean, how can I? He said, but it was cool. And I gotta tell you this last story. This Robert Brooks, that's my guy. He trademarks Lambeau Leap so nobody can take it. Shout out to Robert Brooks. If it wasn't for Robert Brooks, there would be no leap because I wasn't smart enough to just do that. Well, opposite guys are smarter. We just make all the plays. But he trademarked it. So I've met a couple presidents in my lifetime, okay? W came to the practice. He was really cool. At this time, Clinton wants to visit the practice. But we were in Lambeau Field. It's like a Saturday. So he comes in with all his people, and I said, Robert, he made a song called Jump in the Stands about the Lambeau Leap. I said, you got the CD with you? Yes, we had CDs back then. He said, yeah. I said, give it to me. What are you going to do with it? Give it to the president. You're going to get shot. No, give it to me. He gives it to me. So now, like Reggie and Brad, they're all talking to the president. I'm waiting my time, waiting. And then that was my time. I said, Mr. President, have you ever heard of the Lambeau Leap? He said, what's the Lambeau Leap? Wait a minute, you have nuclear codes and you're visiting here and they didn't tell you about the Lambeau Leap? Are you kidding? I said, but my guy, Robert Brooks, has a song about it. I want you to hear it. Now, Secret Service is like, what the hell is going on? Leroy Butler's giving him something he's not supposed to. I'm like, dude, we in Lambeau. You don't need, you can turn those things off. There's you good here, okay? You're in God's country. You just take it easy. And the guy was, okay, go ahead. So I gave it to him. He put it in his jacket. Now, that song, they didn't have the word viral back then, but everybody had it. And it made the Lambeau Leap special. But the reason why it's special, because it's not just me. It's with the fans. We don't have fans. We have fans/shareholders. That's the best thing of all. And the good thing about meeting and speaking today, that my story, no matter what part you take out of it, leadership, networking, can always help you. Help people who you don't know and be that one yes for somebody. Look at their face. I did a paper on it, the best words you want to hear. Obviously, this one I interject, Jordan Love. Love is one. And it's number 10, by the way. Yes. Approved. I picked out like 15 words that people want to hear. Be that for somebody. If everybody gave somebody that one yes, the world not only would change, but it'll be so much fun for everybody. Everybody. Just be that one yes. Because they probably, before you give them that yes, they've had a ton of no's. Tons. Like it may be some people didn't want to attend today. Well, I didn't know Leroy was speaking. I would have came. It's too late. Be that one yes. And I want to say to Jason, my friend, kind of like my family, I appreciate and love and respect him because he had a great idea years ago for Leap Year to help me get a proclamation that Leroy Butler's Day. Every year they vote on the 29th is Leroy Butler's Day. And that's why I pretty much started Leap Vodka and all these other things. My Instagram, everything is Leap. And help people who you do not know. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the last time I saw him in person, I was working for the Department of Transportation, and he was in my office, and one of our workers was a Chicago fan. And I whispered to him, I said, hey, he's a Chicago fan. He said, oh, that's what I smell. We truly thank you for being here today. And the Urban League of Greater Madison thanks the Green Bay Packer Foundation for giving us $250,000 towards the Black Business Hub. Before we close out our morning program, I'm going to ask the Urban League Board of Directors and Urban League staff to stand up for a round of applause. Thank you for being here. I also got to keep my job, and I forgot to do that earlier. So today, as we convene for this significant diversity conference, we were reminded of an impactful partnership that catalyzes true change within our community. Among us is an individual who epitomizes what it means to be a steadfast ally and a friend to the Urban League, a true partner in the realm of action.
Absolutely, Ruben. That individual is none other than Dane County Executive Joe Parisi. In a world where actions resonate louder than words, Joe stands out as an exemplar of support and dependability. When considering someone who truly embodies the spirit of doing rather than just talking, Joe Parisi's dedication is unparalleled.
Exactly, Jason. When we shared our vision about the Black Business Hub aiming to empower and uplift the community, Joe didn't hesitate. He was the first one to step up and say, Ruben, I got you. And he gave us $2 million to help build out the Black Business Hub. Prior to Joe making the commitment to give us the $2 million to move the project forward, our idea was just an idea. But Joe was the wind to kind of push us forward, and that really gave our project credibility. And since that time, we've raised nearly $30 million for the project. So thank you, Joe, for getting us started. So I'm filled today with a lot of appreciation and then some sadness that Joe is leaving. But Joe, you've been a doer, and we love you at the Urban League.
Thank you. I'm a stray from the comments a little bit, Jess. Joe and I have been knowing each other for 20-some plus years. We both came in the legislature at the same time. And one of the things I pride myself on, you all, is finding good people. Because whatever you take from all this technical stuff, as a student of leadership and just humanity and being a good person, one of the things that attracts me to people are you a good person? Just, are you a good person? And Leroy and County Executive Joe Parisi, my friends, just exhibit that as good people. Despite all the things that they do, one of the reasons why I love both of them is that they care about people. They're always trying to figure out and uplift and make sure our community is moving forward in the irrespective ways that they do that. And when I heard Joe was retiring, I was a little bit sad because I've known him for a while, and he hired me. And so I want to just say, Joe, again, and I know I've said this before, I don't blow smoke. Joe has been a good friend. I've always watched the way he's cared about people from our days in the legislature till now. And he doesn't do any of these things for show. This is his lifestyle. Gonna miss you, brother. Thank you so much for all your leadership.
Joe's leadership and unwavering commitment has been a lighthouse for both the Urban League and MadREP. It is with immense honor that I introduce our friend, dedicated supporter, and the recipient of the 2023 Whitney Young Award, County Executive Joe Parisi. Please join us in honoring this champion of this community.
Hey, how you doing? So when Ed had reached out and asked if I could say a few words today, he said, since this is your last time here as county exec, Jason and Ruben might say a couple of nice things about you. And then I saw where I was speaking and who I was following, and I said, man, don't make me cry in front of Leroy Butler. So I was relieved when Mr. Butler mentioned that he's had a few tears in his life too, because it's been a really great couple of weeks saying my farewells to people. And so it's really an honor to be here as one of my last speaking engagements before I retire tomorrow. Well, thank you. I retire in a really hopeful place. You know, I think of equity and I look at just how far this discussion has come in the past decade in our community. It's gone beyond a discussion and become action. And I look at equity as a solution. It's about unlocking and unleashing potential. You know, sometimes when we get started down a path like this, it's, you know, we think, well, where do I start? What does this look like? We all want to be in the same place. How do we get there? And in reality, there are so many ways to get there. There's the personal level. Remember my daughter Sadie told me one day, and some of you might know who this quote is attributed to. She showed me a quote that said, "What if the cure for cancer is locked inside the head of someone who can't read?" And when I think of equity at its most basic level, I think of our children being able to read, and how many still can't. Just yesterday, I was talking to a good friend, Kaleem Care, about the challenges of just getting kids the resources they need, the education they need, so that all kids have access to the ability to read. And we're really not even close to that. You know, for folks who know our friend Dr. Floyd Rose, if he has 60 seconds of your time, he's going to talk to you about making sure that all of our kids have access to reading. And again, reading's an example of equity at its most basic and personal level. And sometimes we think of this just overwhelming arch of equity, and sometimes I think it's helpful to be able to zoom down on these very specific and personal nuts and bolts things we can do. And if anyone's struggling or knows someone who's struggling to find a way to make a difference, there's nothing more basic and concrete than getting involved in helping to teach our kids and our adults who are in need how to read. You know, our world has a lot of challenges. I don't have to tell that to anyone here. But these are all challenges we can overcome, but we're going to need everyone. Just picture a world in which everyone has an opportunity to reach their full potential. If everyone is at the table. Look what's happening on the South Side. Look what happened there when the community stepped up and was able to take ownership of its own destiny. From Jack Daniels to Ruben, to Karen Menendez-Collar in Centro, to local folks like Julian Walters, who's a young man who was associated with the Urban League, who's now an up-and-coming developer in the area, to the McKenzie Center. Solutions exist, and these solutions equal equity. They're concrete examples of what we can do. That's an example of the power of an equitable and respectful community, and it's a path to creating a community in which everyone has access to the opportunity to succeed. And equity is about some of the traditional things we think about, some of the everything we're involved in. And while I'm speaking of equity, could I have the honor of at least recognizing our county folks who are here from the Dane County Office of Equity and Inclusion and others. Thank you, folks. You're rock stars. We appreciate you. And what's so valuable about the county's approach is, yes, we have an Office of Equity and Inclusion and folks who are doing amazing work, but the main part of their job is to make sure that equity and inclusion isn't just something that lives in an office, in one office in county government, that it's something that's weaved through the fabric of all county operations. And you've done such a good job of that, and all of our county departments own this now and are committed to it, and we've really made a difference, and you've really made a difference, so thank you. Equity is about those who are already here, But it's also about those who have recently arrived and are still arriving, our immigrant communities. When I think of what some people feel are intractable issues, we hear people saying, gosh, we have challenges in the workforce. Social Security is going to run out of money. How are we going to pay for this budget deficit? We need more talent. I just want to say, too bad there aren't thousands and thousands of people with talent and perspective and drive who want to come to this country and contribute and be part of the solution and pay taxes and pay into Social Security and bring their varied perspectives to solving the biggest problems that we have. Immigration's the answer. Equity and access to opportunity at home is the answer. A community committed to unlocking everyone's potential is the answer. Imagine the community we can have, the world we can live in, if we embrace equity, if we embrace our immigrant communities with compassion and action. We'll be unstoppable. Thank you, everyone in this room, for everything you do, for the fact that you're here today and your commitment to a more equitable and just world. I have the utmost respect for you, and I have great optimism for our community when I look out and see what I see today and what I see what's going on throughout the community. So thank you. I appreciate it.